the Board of Trustees for the Village of Cambridge, the board meeting of Tuesday, September 28th, 2021 to order, please. Roll call.
Is this okay?
Yes.
It's right there. Did I turn this on right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because Mark started it.
Oh.
We're up for a roll call.
We're a little late.
All right, okay.
Rose,
Here.
Galler, Kumbier,
Here.
Franklin,
Here.
Whitworth,
Here.
McNally.
Here.
Galler will be late.
Okay. All righty. Can we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Lisa, can you give us assurance that this meeting has been properly posted?
The agenda was posted in the upper and lower levels of the Amundsen Community Center, the Cambridge Post Office, Hometown Bank, and the Village website.
Okay, sounds like we're in order. I know we have a number of people here this evening, but we have one special invitee, and I would like to ask Margie Banker, who is the superintendent of the Cambridge Public Schools, to come up, introduce herself, and to give us an update.
Thank you.
Good evening, Margie.
Evening.
There's a few familiar faces in the room and around. I appreciate the invitation, and I return the invitation to each of you as well to join me in a personal conversation at a time of your convenience. Just wanted to share a couple of interesting points. So I'm essentially in my third month as superintendent. I had a pretty bold entry plan to meet with as many people as I can, and so far I've met with, as of today, 117 individuals. So those are folks who live and work in the community, are employees of the community, as well as a number of students that you would imagine I would have already encountered. The plan with the intent of the entry plan is to culminate sort of those entry conversations and meet with the Board of Education to engage in a workshop to talk about some of the themes that emerge as we consider working forward in the spring to develop a strategic plan for the school district. So those are some of the engagements that have been underway so far. That said, we just had our annual meeting last week for the board, the school board and the school district. Jim Womble, a member of our Board of Education, is here in the audience. And as we remarked, we don't often get to sit on this side of the table to participate in meetings such as this. So I think it's a really important part of our community to do both the annual meeting and participate in these community meetings. Our annual meeting highlights were things like our energy efficiency projects were completed. Folks might know that we engaged this last year in undergoing some energy projects that would help us to sustain some of the lighting efforts, heating and cooling efforts, and so forth in the district. So those are accomplished. Another highlight might be that our student enrollment, again, is steady. There's a slight uptick, but it is steady. That is a sign of health and sustainability of the schools. The mill rate, which folks are typically excited to hear about, is decreased. So that results in a lower tax burden for folks, usually welcome, and so forth. And I'd say the other sort of tidbit is that we have received some federal funding called ESSER funds, and those funds have been used to do things like continuing our efforts around cleaning protocols, PPE, health-related factors, as well as employing a new school psychologist and a special education teacher. So those have been some of the endeavors that we have approached with those resources. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions I could take from you all.
Student enrollment, how many students are you seeing coming into the Cambridge system that do not live in this district?
Well over 125 students open enroll into our school district from surrounding districts.
Okay.
So that has also been on a steady uptick over the last decade. So that has been, I think, a fairly constant number. However, the number that has decreased are the number of students who are leaving our district to attend other school districts. And when we follow up with those families to find out why are you leaving, it's often that a parent lives in a different community or works, in a different community, and so they take their children with them to that community so that they can work and find childcare arrangements in that setting. And so I would say our homeschool families have also decreased slightly over time, so that's a group of students that we have, I think, been able to connect with better in the last few years. That said, you're aware that we have an environmental charter school, Koshkonong Trails, and that often offers a new offering for families who are looking for project-based learning, a more alternative in the sense that it offers kids hands-on, all-day, everyday kinds of learning experiences. I think that's been an engaging program for the district as well.
Okay. Questions? Board? When you and I met yesterday, I don't want to take too much time, we had talked about employers in the area. Have you gone any further with that? I know it's been less than 24 hours.
No, I would just offer to the folks in this room and anybody listening that I think as we work harder to give our students opportunities to experience career options and career pathways prior to high school graduation, that there is, a good population of students who may be interested in those kinds of internships, apprenticeships, and opportunities. I think that you'll find over time we'll have a stronger focus on technical education and opportunities to keep our students in our community and skill them in ways that also meet our community needs. So I think that will be coming in the next few years as I work to understand our programs better.
Okay. 2 remaining questions. Can we just ask Jim Wombo to stand and introduce himself?
Sure.
We work with him on a committee, for those of you.
I'm Jim Womble. I'm the VP of the Board of Education.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Mark?
And then,
Yes.
yeah, I can't talk with this thing on. To get used to it, but would you be willing to come back, let's say in the spring, and give us another?
Yeah, I think that would be
quick
great. I think by then we'll also have the makings of a strategic plan, and we might be inviting some of this group to participate in those sessions that lead up to developing it. So I think that would be a great, sort of reveal of where we land with a plan. So I think that's a nice idea.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
And maybe Blue Jay Way. That would be the last statement, right?
Thank you very much, Ms. Baker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, now we're going to jump back into, let's see here, public appearances. Is there anybody who would like to speak on something, if it's, well, whether it's on the agenda or not? If you would like to come and introduce yourself. What did we have for this? 2 minutes? 2 minutes?
Sure.
And if
I'm a
you,
fast talker.
okay, thank you very much.
I'm Blake Sollenberger. I'm a Cambridge resident. Speaking here today because, like many of the folks in this room, I'm upset that the Schultz, the Hinckleys, and Invenergy would hold this town hostage for just a measly 114 acres, and then threaten to pull such an insulting offer, pretending as if it were a gracious olive branch to be revoked if we didn't give them a windfall of TIFs, rip away school funding for our children to give to a state utility aid fund, and to pledge our undying fealty to them by an arbitrary date. Corporations, especially those based out of Chicago, Illinois, not this community, are not allowed to dictate what this city needs. That power belongs to you and to us. The Hinckleys and Invenergy would like you to believe it belongs to them. Everyone who's here is here because they love this town, and when you love something, you don't threaten it, you don't punish it, you fight for it. Do we see Invenergy fighting for Cambridge? No. So don't give an inch. Do not allow them to take advantage of Cambridge. Invenergy requires documentation submitted to the PSC on October 7th with their urgent letter asking for the village's support. This timing of their demands is not coincidental. Stay strong and resist hasty negotiation, for we, not them, are the ones with Cambridge's future invested. It's not hyperbole to say that this solar panel succeeding would be an economic death knell to the Cambridge. We have lagoons to the north, Dane County Park-owned lands to the south, and Jefferson County to the east. The most ripe and fruitful gateway to expansion and to growth, economic growth, and more developments is the fastest growing county in Wisconsin, Dane County, and it's down the 1218 corridor. The PSC commissioner recently made remarks opining that Cambridge and Christiana's land use plans contrasting development versus farmland preservation is somehow evidence that we're not aligned, and somehow that it means it's okay to build solar panels. The faulty math that if A doesn't equal B, then it must approve C is false, and we are united against Koshkonong Solar. So work closely with the township, work with the constituency, and make sure that we have a public joint effort against this solar project, and that we're not doing it in private with concessions. We're doing it publicly and standing firm against it. I don't know what the opportunity will or what it should be, but I know what it should not be. It should not be sterile valleys of machines and batteries soaking up light to give energy to other communities at the expense of our soil, our growth, and to be the casket of our economy. Get aggressive and fight back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that cares to make a comment?
My name's Jamie Downing. I live at 819 Chickadee Drive. I'm not going to be as eloquent as you. But I just am kind of coming with like some foreboding information. I'm currently trying to sell my house, which is along Highland. As the map shows, there is no solar panels directly across the street from us. We've had probably 5 showings, 3 of which have been outside of Wisconsin, people traveling here to maybe relocate. I've heard pretty unanimously that as soon as people have learned about this project, they want nothing to do with Cambridge. There is not that much inventory available in Cambridge. There are not many houses selling currently. Their concern that they've expressed to me is the environmental factor, the scale of it, obviously the aesthetics, but I think more so it is the unknown that comes with this project. I think Cambridge is not going to be the place that people are looking to relocate to, obviously. And I think our town probably is going to lose big time in people that have resources and things to offer this community that are no longer interested in living here. So that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there, raise your hand so I have an idea. If you would like to speak, then I know where to go. I'll start with you, ma'am.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Let me just get my notes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Sollenberger. I'm also a Cambridge resident. And, you know, throughout my research in this project and trying to decide, especially as a newer resident and a mom of kids in the school district, how this benefits us. And I'm struggling to come up with a single point. You know, it seems like none of the taxes will benefit us. We won't be able to grow at all. So our school district taxes will remain, you know, what they are with the tax base, including our utilities. Our utility payments will go up significantly over time if our tax base doesn't improve. And in addition, none of the energy actually stays here. So I don't really know how we're expected to get on board with something that literally offers us 0 benefits as a community, or as it stands now anyway, they're not being publicized if there are benefits. I think the other thing to note too is that based on the comments submitted to the PSC, there's only a 10.5% approval rating for Cambridge residents. Only 11 people submitted comments in support of this project so far, which is pretty abysmal if you consider what, like, you know, MLB stats are, even as far as ratings go, or even cable company ratings. And so additionally, I think the other issue I'm having is just with this, you know, proposed potential TIF district for the development of the 114 acres. You know, this development may not even come to fruition if we allow this to happen. A developer could back out if the solar ends up going through for the rest of the project, and then we're left with land that is not being used or could potentially be sold for other less desirable purposes, and we've instituted this district where we haven't been collecting revenue on it. So I guess in short, I'm just very opposed to this plan. I hope that this board takes under consideration that a lot of residents have done so much research on this and it hasn't been taken lightly, and that we've all talked a lot amongst ourselves too, which has kind of weirdly brought a lot of community together, especially for newer residents. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The gentleman in the blue shirt with the glasses. Yep, that's you.
I did not come with anything.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name's Chris Reed, a resident in Christiana. We built here about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We loved the community, loved the area. We wanted a house with a view. I sold hunting land up north where I'm originally from. We built a beautiful house on a hilltop. I can see the whole project. I can see everything. It surrounds me. Things have gotten so tense in our situation. I mean, the guy that sold me the land completely flipped upside down, lost all my hunting privileges. We're gonna leave. You guys, if there's anything you can do to stop this, I mean, you gotta do something. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. They're shutting mills down all over up north. And I understand it's not where the transmission or the power plant and all that is, but there's a heartbeat here. It's a good community. See, it's a good community, you guys. But this is, you know, you're gonna tell me I gotta pay my taxes, my residential taxes on a few acres of land out in the country, but all the it's just ag land? You're gonna build an industrial solar field around my entire house that you can see? I mean, we can see the whole city. I mean, it's a nice community, and you're just gonna put solar panels all over it? So, I wasn't prepared, but
Okay.
that's all right for your time.
Thank you. There was somebody else in this vicinity.
Hello, my name is Erin. I'm a resident of Cambridge. I wasn't planning to speak, but I did want to piggyback off of what Megan said. She calculated the statistics of the approval rate being at 11%. I've been doing research of my own and reading many comprehensive plans of different villages and townships across Wisconsin. And I came across the township of Winfield, who has a quarter less households this would affect, larger overall land mass, and did a study in 2006 of all their residents polled, who 89% responded they would be in favor of solar energy. So I would encourage Invenergy to look elsewhere. Cambridge obviously is strongly opposed. And secondly, I would say that the field directly across from the winery should be excluded, just because it's going to put that wedding venue out of business. And I don't think that they want the bad PR that comes along with that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks. 700 Vineyard Crossing.
Thank you for your time, Aaron.
Hello. I am Karen Erke. I am a Cambridge resident for 30 plus years. I'm actually a server, worked in this community for 20 years. Probably served and bartended for many of the people in this room. I'm not necessarily too concerned about the land because I don't own any land, but I'm worried about the business and what is going to happen to our community if nobody's going to want to come here because of all the solar panels. Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to have to travel somewhere else? I mean, businesses, people, where are they going to go? They're not going to come here if this is what they see, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, I can't remember if anybody else, sir? Okay. You can introduce yourself.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Litchfield. I'm with Koshkong Solar. I'm with Invenergy. Appreciate all the interest here. Just as a brief introduction, I develop clean energy projects for Invenergy. I've been doing so for 14 years. I really like it. I grew up outside of a small town in western Ohio. I think it's important that we get our sources of energy from cleaner sources and also local sources that create economic development in rural areas like where I'm from. So I'm very proud to be representing this project. I came here tonight mainly to address the recent letter I got from you, Mr. McNally, or we got. Number one, I appreciate the response. We haven't had a great amount of back and forth on this project. It's obviously a complicated thing. There's a lot of consideration. So this letter is not clearly going to resolve anything right away, but I do appreciate the discussion. Number two, we are still confident that we can present this application, and we are presenting this application, and it will not unreasonably interfere with local land use plans. Our testimony is due next week, as you may know, and we'll be describing that in detail, and I welcome a conversation once that's in the record, and any questions you have or the public has, I'll pass out my cards. Third, just a clarifying question we can follow up after the meeting. On the map for the comprehensive plan, the yellow area west of the village that's planned for low-density residential. I just want to understand exactly where that western boundary is. I think it's the eastern quarter section line of sections 2 and 11, meaning there's only one landowner involved, the Hinchley Farms, or Dwayne and Tina Hinchley. So we could just take that offline if you don't want to answer right now.
Let's do that.
Number 4, and there's only one more after this. I appreciate the response, but there's a catch-all.
Dan Weber, your 2 minutes is up. That's all I have.
Okay.
So, thank you. If you have others, you can email that in, and we'll be happy to.
If you have extra time tonight, could I
No,
come
but
back
not
at the end?
tonight, but you just email it in to Lisa at the board tomorrow.
Thank you.
I've gotta be fair.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, others. Ma'am? I shouldn't point, but I. Yeah, okay, thank you.
My name is Abby Cruz. I live at 2186 Pleasant Drive in Cambridge. My husband and I purchased our house in December, and a few weeks after purchase, found out about this project and immediately regretted our decision. I can tell you that if we would have known about this plan, we would have never considered purchasing in Cambridge. But in the short time we've been here, we've come to really love it. I've tried to stay open-minded. I've done my research. I see no benefits to this community. I see a lot of detriments and a lot of loss to this community, which is very sad. And I'm curious, I have a question about zoning rules. It seems to me that the zoning rules have not kept pace with what's happening. I don't know how you remedy that, certainly not an expert, but you know, I have to have it zoned for a horse. Seems like there should be some kind of rule about being zoned for a massive solar farm that's the size of a small town. So that's all I want to say.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Ma'am?
Angel Hebby. I'm a business owner in Cambridge. I am also a farmer. I own about 450 acres in the town of Oakland, none of which is in the project area. But we have been approached by different utilities and such to take advantage of things on our farmland, such as putting up a cell tower. If you've ever driven down South Cedar, you know that big, beautiful mountain there across from Red Cedar Lake. They wanted to put a cell tower there. No, that's beautiful landscape. Yes, it would benefit some around us, but there's only 5 households that it could actually help right there. My point being, just because it helps me financially, we would have had a big financial gain from that. I'm not going to destroy the scenery that everyone else enjoys out there for my own financial benefit. That's just over my line of what I will do to my neighbors. And that is really just one of my concerns on this solar project. Like I told Dan Lichtfield when he was applying for the, Great Dane in Dane County, that I wouldn't mind having solar in our area because I do believe in solar. But I did say in our backyard, not our front door. That is our front door to our town. If we block that off, how many Madisonians come to Cambridge? How many are we going to get when they have to drive through that? How many new businesses are going to come here? Businesses leave here every day for ridiculous reasons, some of them. And some of them, they know what's coming. We can't let this happen. We can't. It's going to devastate our community.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Good evening. My name is Mike Ryber. I'm the Director of Operations at the Dancing Goat Distillery here in Cambridge. I realize it's Stop Koshkonong Solar Night, so I wanted to make sure they all had a chance to say their piece. My point of order to the board is an expression of concern. 2 weeks ago, I came to you at the same opportunity for a public appearance and conveyed our concern that issues, concerns, questions, answers, and just dialogue, honest, open, positive, well-intentioned dialogue is being filtered, mitigated, limited, constrained. And I ask you as the board to think about why that would be. Why would somebody like me be telling you that? I'm asking you to open your eyes and understand that there is a lot going on, and we understand that you in this position have a lot to deal with. However, it's not fair for us to feel that way, because if I feel that way, how many of these people will feel the same way with their issues? So I'm asking once again for comments, questions, and just good faith conversation to continue to be the order of the day and to get things done. Because time is not our friend. Time works against all of us. And unfortunately, in the business world, especially now, people are watching every little thing you do because it has a direct impact on their lives, their families, and their outcome. So I'm asking you again to please put that back on the table and understand that's how we're going to approach it. And if you don't agree with us, that's fine. But at least let's have the good faith conversation. Okay? That's all I have.
Is there anybody else? Okay. Roxy was first.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Engelstad from the Christiana Township. I was a bit concerned about the letter that was originally sent to the Hinchleys, the developers, and Invenergy that indicated that the village would consider TIF support for the 114 acres. However, according to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue guidelines, TIF funds that are used for a mixed-use development cannot include more than 35% of the land for residential purposes. It appears as if I look at the map of the 114 acres, about 2/3 of that area is residential. So maybe the board should go back and consider what is written in the document on the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. Thank you.
Dean?
Thank you. My name is Dean Lund, resident of Cambridge here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up here and showing our support for our position with the application as presented to the PSC. I just wanted to acknowledge that because it's not just the village board that's fighting this, it's a community. We are concerned about where this community is going, and we have, yes, the support of our village. And using our support, I do not want to give up the intervener status because that can be used in co-working with our other communities, school district, and other ventures. So, like it says, we need to work together and go from there. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, is there anybody else? Last call. Anybody else? Okay.
And again, reiterate, if you haven't signed in, there are sign-up sheets in the back if you could sign in.
Okay. This board does appreciate you taking the time to come in and share your thoughts and your opinions. That is very helpful for us as we are considering this most delicate and difficult issue. Okay, I'm going to move on. Item 6, approval of the consent agenda.
Mark, before we approve the consent agenda, I would like to change my vote from the special board meeting on September 21st to no. The village response to the letter revised on September 16th. So I'm changing my vote to no.
I thought it was already no.
No, it wasn't. No.
Okay, all right. Do you have that, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, I'll go along with that.
Now I'll
Okay.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, we've got a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, and that includes the board minutes of September 21st, Economic Development Committee of the 20th, Energy Subcommittee of the 21st, and Personnel Committee of the 21st. All those in favor, approval of the consent agenda, please not identify. Signify. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none. That carries. All right, we're going to move on to reports. I'm going to talk twice this evening. Just for the board's benefit, as you know, I serve on the Fire and EMS Committee. And this last week, you may have noticed the pizza pit. I got to keep this on even when I'm talking.
You do. We all have to.
The pizza pit, the operator, Steve Meyer, moved out of town. Actually, they shut down. He didn't move out. He was never here. And I'd been trying to work with Mark Cook, who is the chairman of the town of Christiana. Town of Christiana owns that property. And they just don't know where they're at. They had a good business. He appreciated the residents in the area. But what the problem was is he couldn't find help because of the lease. And the lease is up at the end of September here, October 1st. So he came back to town of Christiana and said, I'm not going to renew it. I and Mark Cook had met with him and his attorney, and we were trying to come up with ways that we could perhaps keep a business. Because as I shared at the meeting, I just didn't want to see us lose another valuable business and then have an open hole. Because that building, nothing is going to happen with it for a while. And I just didn't want to see it turn into an attractive nuisance and kids running around. I bounced some ideas off, and it turned out for nothing. So he has decided to shut down. So he has left, and that's why the sign says what it is. So that's
So he's not looking at any other locations in Cambridge?
No.
Nothing?
No, there was, I had thrown an idea out. I think the commission would have gone with it. There might have been some assistance. The town of Christiana wanted a 5-year lease, but they, he wanted a 5-year lease. The town of Christiana was only going to go a year. And I thought, well, maybe there could be something in there if he should decide to move within 1.5 miles of his current location, which could take him down to the bowling alley.
Right.
But as it turned out, there's nothing here that he could move into.
Okay.
All right. So that's my report on being involved with that. Okay, I'm going to move on to Water and Sewer Committee, September 27th
Yeah,
meeting.
we met last night, and we had quite a few things going on. Steve Struss stopped by last night, and I'm sure he's going to talk to you again, Mark, that
It's on
we'd
the
like to see him
agenda.
sit on the committee for
It's on the agenda
probably
tonight.
through March. Maybe we can find somebody to replace him by then.
Okay.
From the Director of Public Works last night, he's looking for more bodies to help out with the water and also Public Works.
Okay.
So we need to probably have another personnel meeting
It's
here
on the
fairly soon.
agenda tonight, too.
Yep, okay.
Oh, is Mr. Reiber's concerns here tonight something coming out of the Water and Sewer Committee?
I don't believe you spoke at the meeting last night.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we'll be following up later.
In this meeting or? Okay.
We will be contacting Mr. Reiber.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not done yet, though.
Something happened?
The media replacement, there's an update, and that's for the softener, and it should be by the end of December. We're going to start changing the media out on that finally, on that softener. We met with MSA last night, and they gave us an update on the well number 3 project, where the plans are, et cetera, and so they'll be coming back to us within a month or so to continue giving us updates on the well number 3 project.
Okay.
And
And the timeline on well number 3 is, how does that look from MSA's perspective?
Is the timeline doable for the well number 3?
Huh?
From MSA's perspective, is the well number 3 timeline on schedule is still okay?
yeah, it's still all right, and the reason it is okay, they've been working with the DNR and keeping the DNR updated on this, and so MSA is making progress, and I don't think they'll withhold us to the 2022 completion, but we're still going to really try to work towards that. But one big thing right now is trying to get materials in,
right?
Especially specialized pumps and accessories.
So is that why the deadline may be extended, is because it's more of a supply chain materials issue, and we're acting in good faith to move forward?
Well, we'll take a look at different things, you know.
Okay.
Just to add on what Ted's saying,
yeah,
the deadline is the end of 2022, but they said if they see progress this spring, this summer, into the fall,
Yeah.
that they'll work with us.
And what does progress look like to the DNR?
Just that the project is underway. If they have material delays that's out of their control, they will work with us. And those are the delays, like Ted was saying, that they're expecting with the contractors, just the COVID backups with materials and things like that. So.
Okay.
But I guess the big thing that I took out of it, you know, let's say the solar project goes completely through, and we have nowhere to go with getting more homes and stuff into this area. We may downsize the size of that plant. We may drop it down to 300 or 350 gallons a minute instead of 600 gallons a minute. But we'll continue watching that so we don't overbuild it also.
Okay.
Okay? But we still need to go forward with the project.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And that's roughly a $2.5 million project.
Right now, it's going to, because it's shocking how prices have gone up.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ted.
Yep.
All right, move on. Village office updates. Lisa?
Been working on personnel issues, paperwork that goes along with that, a lot of ongoing projects, some of which are on the agenda. Solar panels, bike trail, old developers agreements. Used snowplow has been found and purchased within the $50,000. The old one is for sale. We have had some interest in it, so Staff is looking at that. We're researching short-term loan options, and we'll be coming to the board with those at our next meeting. We are interviewing tomorrow for 2 of the Dane County deputy positions. Deputy Sinclair has been promoted to lieutenant. Deputy Vanderberg has also been offered a different position within the Sheriff's Department. So those interviews are occurring tomorrow. We did send a letter to the Dane County Sheriff's Department. We've received confirmation as of the date that Lieutenant or Deputy Sinclair was promoted. We will no longer be paying for his FMLA. It will be done as of the day he was promoted. Also with Deputy Vanderberg, he will remain in his position until somebody who is road trained can take over that position. So we're working with them. We'll have more information by the next joint law enforcement committee meeting. Chrissy has been beginning work on the budget. We will be scheduling an audit and finance committee coming up shortly to delve more into that. And a lot of updates on the agenda here as we move through things.
Okay. Questions for Lisa? Okay, let's move on. Bills. Chrissy, what does it look like?
The first round, $25,164.93. And the second round that was done today, $3,890.36, for a total of $29,055.29. Do you guys have any question on the bill?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills and set them out.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll
Sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Questions, concerns for Chrissy? Any questions on the bills?
No.
I see our legal fees are,
Yeah, that mountain.
what were they, 65?
$6,609.
Okay.
I guess I have a question on the legal fees. Are these legal fees going towards proposed development or any of that? Because that should really come out of a different pot.
It's all coming out of reserves right now. We don't have a pot for it.
Well,
Okay.
I didn't mean to shut you down. That's just, we don't have anything set aside for it.
well, don't we really want to show that it's not being spent?
Yeah, why, you're tracking. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's being spent on both, but to Eric's point, it's coming out of the same non-existent pot, and it's coming from the same source. So, I mean, it's billed to us as one invoice. We can certainly break it down between the two, but it is ultimately, that's where it's coming from.
Just, I see the bill here
Mhm.
for 6,000. Do you know where we are in that dollar amount?
I don't think I've been tracking it. I need to pull the numbers together to see what our current is. I don't know if either Lisa or Chrissy, you know off the top of your
Not
head.
off the top of my head.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I can get it back to you guys. so.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Other questions on the bills? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Geller?
Yes.
Kumbier?
Yes.
Franklin?
Yes.
Whitwer?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
McNally?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on to new business here. We'll start with Village of Cambridge resolution authorizing submission of a DNR recycling grant. Lisa, what's the?
Yep, that was mine. Since the clerk is the authorized user on the DNR website that I submitted the grant to, it did not change. There was not a resolution that needed to be done. So that was my fault.
Oh,
So since she still is in the same position, nothing changed.
okay.
It only needs a resolution if something was to change.
So we don't need to act on that?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to strike that, and we'll move right on.
Sweet.
Bike trail, an update.
Okay, the force main has been moved. They are going to begin working on the retaining wall. Once that is done, paving will then begin. We have met with the winery and the Dancing Goat regarding the relocation of the bike path. while the winery was open to possibly moving it onto their property, the Dancing Goat has expressed an interest in leaving it where it is right now and constructing a fence between their building and the equipment and the trail. We're working with their attorney, waiting for him to describe the terms under which the Dancing Goat would be willing to convey the easements necessary for the path. In discussion, there is no need for a new CSM as the lot lines haven't changed. Rather, we would be looking to vacate the current recorded easements that are recorded with Dane County and create and approve new ones that accurately show the location of the bike trail once all parties are in agreement.
Has there been talk about the drainage issues that were on the CSM?
Yeah, so along with that, we are working with Dane County on the stormwater issues.
Okay.
Once a lot of engineering has been submitted to Dane County based on where the path is right now and so forth. So once they get final word, if the path is staying where it is, or if it is relocating, it would need to be tweaked. But we're working with Dane County, who is working with the winery. Said a lot of the engineering has been submitted. So waiting on final word on the path to determine if anything needs to be changed or if it's good, and they'll proceed from there.
When they moved the sewer pipe, was that within the budget that they had estimated it would be?
That was what the board had talked last week. It was roughly $5,000 to move the force main. That was part of the contingency funds.
So it worked out as expected?
As of right now, yep, we're still good.
Okay, knock on wood. That was pressurized sewer pipes, so I'm hoping that stayed put.
Lisa, the bike trail, the fence that they're talking about putting up, do you know how high that is?
Looking at our ordinances, security fences can be a maximum of 10 feet high.
Okay, so that's what we're looking at? Okay.
6 feet?
Yeah, normally that's.
Security fences can be 10 feet, up to 10 feet for our ordinances.
Okay, all right, we'll work that out then with the, I
Yeah.
guess that's the,
Yep.
the bike, I don't even know, is that?
No,
George?
we're working with the attorneys. They've been in contact.
Okay,
so.
all right.
And they haven't been doing any work back by the distillery
No.
doing this, right?
No.
That is paused?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when are they gonna start to pave that, do you know?
The retaining wall is the next thing to be done.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
that was put back a week due to a different project. So they should be starting that this week. Paving would start after that.
Okay, all right, well, look forward to future reports. All right, I don't think there's anything we have to do on this.
No, just so you're aware, what we'd be looking at is vacating the current easements that are recorded, and once it's all determined and everybody signs off, getting the new easements recorded and filed.
All right. Okay, any questions on that? Let's move on then. Contract with Barb Geckner. Lisa?
This we talked about a couple months ago, again at our last regular meeting. It was on personnel, but we ran out of time, so it bumped back to here. The board 2 weeks ago did approve moving forward. We were going to be looking at dollars, hours, and so forth. We did kind of look at roughly 40 hours to start, between both helping with budget and cleaning the old office and so forth, which could be a cap of $1,500 to start. Looking at the budget we did, there is some unbudgeted revenues.
No.
Yes. with the vineyards in our agreement, once a certain percentage of lots were sold, we start receiving a percentage of the sale of the lots. That has not been budgeted because you never knew when we would reach that threshold, how much it would be, and so forth.
Super.
We had received roughly 14,000, another 14,000 should be coming shortly. So that is one source of possible revenue. It goes toward their payment of purchasing the land, but we're not paying a loan or anything. We own the land outright before, so that's the revenue we're getting for payment of the property.
Okay, but as it relates to Barb Geckner, you're looking at $1,500. Okay, to help out.
$1,500 to clean the office?
And help with the budget.
Oh,
to have some-
$1,500 total to clean the office and work on the
Right
budget.
now, 40 hours to start, it can be revisited later if more is needed.
Why do you need Barb to clean the office?
Because we don't have time.
No, she's kind of so when we talked about this, Barb was really the content expert in the budget, but I don't know that we need Barb's expertise to clean the office.
We do need somebody twofold. It's some confidential records, and to know what needs to be kept, what can be destroyed, what needs to be logged with the state to be destroyed. We can't hire.
So it's not necessarily like dusting. She's
No.
not dusting the office. She's going through records.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, not cleaning, but cleaning out the, what
Got
is
it.
still left in the old office.
Okay.
I've been talking with Lisa about this, and I think $1,500 is a fair fee to get that taken care of, and also to help Chrissy get going here with the budget.
Right. I just wanted to clarify the task
I
that we
get it.
were.
I get it.
Organizing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. Do we need to act on that, or,
Yeah, to put the
all right, somebody want to make a
the
motion?
dollar amount in place for now.
Do you think that will finish either project? Will that help you get to the end of the budget and potentially get the office cleaned? Or do you think there's an extension to this coming that we should budget in the budget?
And that's something, this will definitely get us through this year.
Okay.
If we need more, then we can look at the budget. We'll have an idea of how we're going. I said to Mark, I think once somebody can get in there and really dig into the office to start cleaning, it's going to go fast.
Yeah.
Up till now, it's us going in there for 15 minutes, grabbing some stuff and bringing it, to have time dedicated.
Can this be coordinated with other personnel so that, again, Barb is saying shred this pile, take this pile.
Yeah.
She's working in conjunction with other
Yeah.
people to expedite the office cleaning?
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Budget, Chrissy has started doing some of the legwork behind it.
Sure.
To have the continuity, to know how we did, what we did, why we did it, because we've lacked that over the last 10 years. So
Sure.
it'll be a huge benefit to her to.
And Chrissy, you've done budget work before?
Yeah, for different municipalities, so this,
Sure.
I just wanted to see how this municipality, like I said, I've already done like the groundwork and stuff for some of the projects that I know that needs to be done. But then and to me, I know I can do it. I'm like already nose deep in it, so.
Okay.
And then I would assist her, honestly, helping in cleaning, the records out of the office.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Looking for a motion here to support or authorize up to $1,500 for the contract with Barb Geckner.
I'll make a motion to award a contract to Barbara Geckner not to exceed $1,500 to assist the office records and also to assist Chrissy with the budget.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Kumbier,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Whitwer,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Galler,
Yes.
McNally.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. Cambridge Farm to School, the temporary liquor license in the Fall Festival, October 9th.
This too was on our last agenda. They had not yet met with the police to go over their plans and so forth. They have done that now. The police have
Signed
worked
off on
with them and have approved it, so.
So it's been approved? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Cambridge Farm to School temporary liquor license for Cambridge Fall Fest 10/9/2020 at Westside Park.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That was some detailed map, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that one is scaled, but, you know. Okay, now let's move on to appointment to committees.
As Ted mentioned, Steve Strauss did offer to sit on the Water and Sewer Committee.
As a resident.
Yes,
Yeah.
as one of the public members, not indefinitely, but
But he said he'd
for
do
right
it
now. Yeah.
probably through to March or something like that.
Yeah,
March
so
or April, so.
we are looking for 2 public members, so it would be wonderful to have Steve back and his expertise and knowledge
You
with
bet.
the system. We also need to appoint a village board member to the Joint Review Board, which is the board that reviews the TIF plans. I know Chuck has mentioned he'd be interested. He didn't know if he'd be here, though. We do have a meeting scheduled October 14th at 11 a.m. with a Zoom meeting with Dane County, the schools, MATC. Ellers will be presenting. So we need to fill those 2, and also still looking for Water and Sewer, Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, Historic Preservation, Cable. So if there's residents interested in serving, we have openings on committees. So let me know if there's interest. But we do have the 2 we have to approve tonight.
All right, let's start with Mr. Struss for Water and Sewer. Ted, observations, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm fine with Steve sitting on it. I think he's got some good input, especially, you know, he worked on well number 3 also, and we just never had the funds at the time to go forward with it, but we never seemed to have funds for it, but we're now taking a stand that we have to, so.
Okay.
So I think he'd be an asset to the committee.
All right. I met with Steve last Friday, and I talked to him about this, and he...
You're okay. It'll be okay.
I think I am, but, you know, it's Dane County, so... he's on our wastewater commission, and so he knows the effluent part of it. Now he's going to get involved with the origination part of it. And I think he's very knowledgeable on this, so I have complete faith that he can do that. I hope he stays on longer than just 6 months, but hey, you know, we'll take
The
that.
wastewater side, I think Steve has been there a long time, probably
Yeah.
16 years or
Yeah.
so, on the wastewater portion of it. So.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve Steve Strauss for the Water and Sewer Committee as the citizen representative.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that takes care of Steve. Steve's not here, but he's now on that committee. And then the other one here,
Joint Review Board.
the Joint Review Board.
Mhm.
And we got to pick somebody off of.
Around Chuck, or
I
are you going?
I'm interested in being on it, but I'll be at drill that day. I'll be in Virginia.
What day is the 14th?
It is
It's a Thursday.
Thursday, the 14th, 11 a.m. It'll roughly be a half-hour.
I could do that.
Okay. And then we can always revisit when we reorganize again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I would need an Outlook reminder, please.
We'll be getting the notices and everything else. so,
Great.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion here for that, Carla?
I'll make a motion for myself to be on
I
the
think
Joint Finance.
we can do better than that.
I'll make a motion for her to be on the joint board
right.
review.
Yeah, all right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carla, congratulations.
Thank
I knew it
you.
was going to be close, but all right. Okay, next one up. Lisa, on these appointment to committees.
That's it for the
That's it.
committees for right now.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to F, Public Works Laborer Position Posting.
So I did include a job description that we have used in the past. We did change it a little bit with a potential ad to send out. As you know, we have new Director of Public Works and are down one staff member right now, so we're at the Director, one full-time, one part-time. This would bring on another laborer who would be split between Public Works and Water and Sewer. One of our goals is to make sure everybody is cross-trained, can help in both areas wherever needed, so.
Question for you. So it says that they will need to obtain a valid Wisconsin CDL. What happens if they lose their CDL? We need a snowplow driver.
Yes, we do.
If they don't have a CDL, they can't do that.
No.
So is that in the handbook somewhere that, do we have any means to enforce that? Or do we have to post it and say, if you lose it, that's it?
Oh, it'd be nice to.
And we could change it to obtain and maintain.
Is that sufficient to meet the, I don't want to fire anyone, but we need someone that can actually
Yeah.
do the job.
So we're asking for a full-time position.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we couldn't get a part-time position for someone who specializes specifically in the, what sounds like the need for a redundancy in the water testing?
It's, like we said, we are down a full-time person. The water department has taken on a lot more responsibilities that is going to take a lot more of our time. I think going backwards in people is not going to.
Well, I don't know that we're going backwards.
Well,
I guess.
But in the last couple, the maintenance plan that we just approved is going to take a lot more time of our staff that hasn't been done before. So to have the staff to be able to do that while still leaf collection is coming up and snow plowing, and I think it would be very much a stretch to put on.
Could we start with part-time and move someone up to full-time? Because it's hard to go in the other direction.
That's your call, but the discussion when the maintenance plan was approved, when we were full staff, was that we would probably need additional staff to carry out the maintenance plan.
Well, the staff has also changed under a new director, and I'm wondering if the new director can he speak to this? He's here, I see you.
And
Chris?
Yeah.
I can speak to it. I
Yeah.
mean, but,
Chris, why don't
you
you?
want me to be frank, or?
Yeah, I would love it if you were
You
frank.
just approved, how many people are we gonna have in the front office? How many people is that gonna be?
That's 5.
Okay.
Also,
So we got,
we also have in the agenda pay increases, which I am in favor of. And so if we're putting some dollars towards people's accreditations and increased dollars, perhaps a part-time start is a good way to move money to pay for those pay increases. But again, I would like the Director of Public Works to speak to
well,
that
I mean,
a bit.
can anybody in the front office plow? Can anybody pick up leaves? Can anybody do the manual labor or the water tests?
No.
No. So you have a person that was appointed to this position, myself, who is very green, who's probably not qualified to be in this position, but I'm doing it and I'm learning. And you have a guy that is on the precipice of leaving because he's overworked.
Okay.
So do I need another person? Yes, urgently.
And you need a full-time position?
Yes, I do. I need 2.
Okay.
Have you guys ever thought of seasonal help in the winter for snow plowing?
You're the board.
No, I mean, like, I know, has there been any talk in the shop about seasonal help for snow plowing
I know that
specifically?
there has been some chatter about gentlemen that have stepped forward within the community that want to assist us with plowing. I don't know the legalities that are involved
Right,
with
right.
that. I know that there's been some talk about seeing about subbing some things out. And if that's a more cost-effective way, I can do the research, present it to Lisa, and she can present it to the board if you'd like to go that route. But the work still needs to get done. I can tell you today, doing brush pickup, it was myself. And because Derek was working on water samples, so.
That's the first priority, and then he can help out.
Right, and he did.
And I know that.
Yeah, we need to get a full-time employee in here pretty soon. 'Cause you got a director out there doing labor stuff, and he
Okay.
needs to be learning the director side of it, getting schedules put together, putting the SOPs put together, things like that. He's out there picking up brush. It's kind of counterproductive to being a director, so.
But the work, you know, there's constituents here in Cambridge that have an expectation that has been presented to them. It has historical precedent, which is we are going, you know, when they put out their brush, it gets picked up every Tuesday. So we have to maintain that, but it's a juggling act right now, so.
Okay.
Does that answer all your questions?
Yeah.
You got me on the hot mic here, so if you got
I know
any-
that.
Christ.
Okay.
We looked at a salary. See the X's there?
Yeah, when we posted this the last time, we
Thank you,
did
Chris.
do
Thanks, Chris.
$16 to $18 an hour. We were looking at numbers to keep it consistent. We could do 16 to 19, and based on if they have a CDL already and so forth.
Okay.
But further
And-
education would
and-
also raise that up.
Yeah, and to the point of wages as well, we are replacing a higher paid employee with a lower wage.
Potentially, I mean, if they have the accreditation to.
It
Raise
would
that dollar
still
amount.
be, if it's in that range, it's still well below, below what we're replacing.
No, I don't want to be offensive, but if you get someone that's water and sewer accredited, they're not going to be working for 16,
No.
18 bucks an hour.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
What was the night shift that quit for $16.50?
Yeah.
$17 an hour?
Yeah.
So, with no accreditation.
I'm with you on this one, Chuck. You know, I think this is a full-time position. And I think Chris will be careful, and you've got to give him the tools. So we've got a hole, and we need to fill that, and they need to get up to speed here very quickly, especially with the CDL. So that's a good point. I think they have to keep it, because we're not going to keep them on if they can't plow snow with us. Okay, anybody care to make a motion?
Are we just approving the job description, or are we also approving a salary amount too?
The salary, because the salary would be posted with it.
And you're posting it like ASAP?
We'd like to post it ASAP.
Newspaper's
couple
here, right?
weeks,
You can handle that. Okay.
So what is the salary we're looking at?
If that's your decision, 16 to 19 would be in the same range we offered the last time this position was posted.
Okay.
Can we go 17 to 20? Make it attractive to get someone in here?
I think so.
We overwork our guys and have them leave, and then we're screwed at that point. So I think we need to make this an attractive offer.
I agree, but is that going to upset the last guy we just recently hired not that long ago? If
Was
he's
that-
going to be behind the
Is
curve?
that Derek? When was he hired?
Not that long ago.
Just over a year ago.
What's his salary at?
Um,
What was he hired at?
he was hired at 17, he's at 18 now. He will, if we do the step increases, he'd be looking at increases there.
Is he being trained for water and sewer?
He is, and that will be part of the next discussion. He
Oh,
has
sorry.
two of the certifications done.
So $18 an hour, does that?
I like the range that you gave, 17 to 20. You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
It's not a livable wage, but a benefits package is what you live on, right?
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve a salary range of $17 to $20 an hour for the Public Works labor position posting.
Okay. We
I'll
have
second.
further discussion? This is money.
It's not, it's just the
It's
position.
not money yet.
Okay,
It's not
all those in
money yet.
favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Public Works position will be posted with the $17 to $20 per hour. If anybody's out there looking for employment, if you've got your CDL.
We offer a fantastic benefits package.
Yep. Okay, let's move on. Step increases for employees completing certifications. Lisa?
So there's a memo in your packet. This was recommended from the Personnel Committee as well as the Water and Sewer Committee yesterday. Like we said, Derek is going through the certification process. There's 4 certifications for the water system. He does have 2 of them completed. We're working with DNR to get the rest. He has the information on the next 2. As we've discussed, we're asking a lot more of our employees, a lot more testing and so forth. And because of how things have happened, realizing the need to have this cross-training, Chris will be getting the certification as well. Right now, his focus is growing into the job and the day-to-day aspects. So this was recommended from personnel and water and sewer, $1 an hour increase for each level of certification reached.
Well, anybody care to make a motion? And then I can open it up for discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the $1 an hour step increases for employees completing certifications.
Okay. Second?
I'm going to second that because it gives them an incentive to take those courses and get certified.
Okay. Discussion?
Do we know how many other certifications there are?
There are 4 for the water system.
4 for now, but I mean, it says there's more coming. Do we know
In the next
roughly?
year or 2, they're looking at adding a sewer certification.
Okay.
And then ultimately, once those 4 are completed, then you're certified as a water operator,
Okay. Other?
which is needed to.
And the $1 is
submit
just for the
DNR
water,
reports.
these water certifications, or is it also for like CDL and other stuff too?
I
Or
would
still
think
to
in the
be
past,
determined?
we have done for CDL if
Okay.
people come in without it.
Yep.
And that
You
would
bet.
be part
It's
of
worth a lot to us.
the hiring process.
I'm fine with that. It's just it's not mentioned in this memo that you have here, so you'd have to specifically
Yeah.
call out.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions before I? This is money. So, roll call, please.
Franklin,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Galler,
Yes.
Kumbier.
Yes,
Order, there was no second.
Yeah,
It was
Ted had
seconded by
seconded it.
Kumbier.
I did.
Yeah. And McNally.
Yes. Okay. Passes. All right, let's move on. Joint meeting with the town of Oakland.
So I have reached out to Oakland. It's been a while since we've had our joint meeting with them. They have proposed 3 dates: Thursday, October 21st, Wednesday, October 27th, Thursday, October 28th. So So we're looking to set up a date with them. Also, any input, what we'd like to see on the agenda. I did propose to them one item of discussion could be LRIP grants are, for roads are due to the state soon. That could be an item of discussion. They would need to apply for an LRIP grant for Blue Jay Way. Some of the LRIP grants are full funded, most are half of the project is funded. Is that a possibility to discuss if they would apply for LRIP and would
Are they
get?
the only ones who can apply for that grant for that road?
Yes, because it is in their municipality.
Right, but
we cannot apply for a grant for a road that's not in our municipality.
Right, but the maintenance of that road has been a point of contention. So the only way it can be repaired is under their request. Correct?
If a grant request, through a grant request, it would have to come from them.
Okay.
But we need to sit down and talk to them too. We need to sit and talk to them.
Yeah, and so that's one item I had suggested as an agenda item to talk about. But so I need to, dates, if any of those dates do or don't work for you, and then possible items for discussion can come to me. We would be hosting the meeting this time. The last time had been in Oakland.
Okay, so what are the dates again?
They had thrown out October 20th, but COWC meets that day. So October 21st, 27th, or 28th.
All right, how we feel? And it'd just be a that wouldn't be a Tuesday, would it? Thursday?
No, those are
Thursday, Wednesday.
Thursdays, 2 Thursdays and a Wednesday are the dates that we're looking at.
And you got this from their
Those
town.
are the dates that they
Okay.
suggested.
Okay, because I know I've got a meeting coming up in October with them, but I'm going to assume if it's Thursday, it's not going to compete with any of these. If you got it from there, I just don't remember what date it is. All right, so how do we feel? I mean, we should do this. We need to invite our neighbors in, and we'll have a joint meeting. And I think this is a good point, Blue Jay Way. Ms. Banker doesn't look like she's here. Her and I talked about that this week when I was in yesterday, Blue Jay Way. So she would like to see something. But getting back, 21st, 27th, or 28th.
And you guys can look at your calendars, get
The
back to me if you
COWC
want.
doesn't meet on the 21st. So
The
we could,
20th. So they had originally thrown out the
Oh, yeah.
20th as well, and
yeah.
I said
No,
that
I
date
don't want
wouldn't
that.
work.
21st would work though.
I'm good for the 21st.
I will be out, but you guys can meet without me. But I would be fine with the 27th and 28th. It's the same week as the village board meeting, so that's Tuesday and then another day that week. But
All right. But you're okay with the 27th, 28th?
I am.
Chuck, how are you?
Yeah, I can do that too.
Okay. You all right, 27th, 28th?
27th, fine.
27th? Okay. Does that work, Lisa?
I can let them know that looks like it would work for us.
If they prefer the 21st, don't wait on me. I'd prefer for us to meet with them than not meet with them
Yeah,
and push this out to
please.
November. So.
Right. And once we get through that one, I need to, I had talked about doing the same thing with Mark Cook over in the town of Christiana. That hasn't happened yet, so, well, first things first. Let's get together with town of Oakland. Okay, let's move on. Unfinished business. Want to give you an update on the fire commission. As you know, I serve as the village's point of contact, the liaison with the Fire and EMS Commission. And I was there last meeting. And our share of the budget, and the budget this next year, total budget for the Fire and EMS will be $763,761. Our share, and it's just over, so it's mostly 25%. It's going going to cost us $191,000. That's what we will have to pay in to the commission.
How did that change from the previous year? Is that
The previous year was 184,000, so it went up 3.53%.
3%?
3.5.
Oh, thank you.
So up $7,000, right? You said 184 to 191?
Yes. So I had asked that this information be given early so I could bring it to you. And as you know, that is, there's 5 of us. So I voted for it, and because it wouldn't have made any difference. I mean, it's going to carry, and I just didn't feel like I wanted Cambridge to be seen as the spoil sports. And I do have a concern about this, and I realize that there are a number of you that are here. When I went through my questions, from the fire department, they gave us a great deal of detail, and the chief there of the fire department for the entire 5 communities makes a whopping stipend of $2,000. There's 4 assistant chiefs, and they each get $1,000. And this goes down to captains, lieutenant, safety officer. There's some officers, vice president gets 50. And all told, everything in there, and they also pay the fire personnel, fire department personnel when they go on a call. They pay them approximately $36,000. So the total was $50,000. Not a problem. It was detailed. I liked it. When we got to the budget, the wages for the EMS were just one line item, $495,800. And there was no detail. And I asked about this, and I was told that I will have to go to a closed session. So I will be doing that to get more information. They felt that that was proprietary. They did not want to go into sharing the wages with the EMS side of the house.
And that's closed session within
The fire and EMS.
Okay.
So
How many on-staff EMS are there?
I believe that there are, they told me there were 10.
Including
But that
chief?
is total staff. It may not just be the EMS providers. That could be some assistants, clerical, that kind of thing.
But Mark, doesn't the EMS return some of that 700 or whatever the amount was over the year for calls? You know, they get payments from insurance companies, et cetera.
Yes, they do. They do, and that was on there.
But that's not figured into that amount.
No. And that was part of the budget. I don't have that number in front of me, Ted. But it was sizable.
Historically, they've gotten about a third of their budget back. I don't know how that changed over
I
COVID.
know, but they bring quite a bit of money back. Quite a bit of that comes back.
A third. Like, I can't tell you about COVID numbers, but prior to COVID, about a third of their budget came back through insurance payments and charges.
My concern was just being able to find where is the detail on $500,000 when we get detail on $50. That's it. So I wanted you to know that I raised it as an issue, and I will be taking that up with them in closed session. As to whether or not that should be just closed session, I don't think so. Personally, the superintendent was here, and that's a matter of public record. We could ask her what she'd make it, and she would have to tell us. So why don't we have the same type of openness, transparency with the EMS department? I don't know, but I will find out. So that's my report. It did pass.
Don't they
It's
have to go through their-
$191,000.
Don't they have to go through their union rep?
That's another issue. I will be dealing with them in private session on that one as well. But to get the budget started, Chrissy, $191,000, I think there is, and $17. So, thank you. All right. That's the Fire Commission update. Building Subcommittee update is pretty much the same. They had the reports, and now it's going to go back into the commission. They did hear from the Building Subcommittee There's another proposal out there to do the structure for $5 million instead of $6.5 million. I caution people because that's a number that's been put out by two individuals that they're not contractors, but they are looking at where they might be able to cut space. So I don't think
Well, they're
that
not builders, Mark, so
Yeah,
you
that's
get-
why I'm
take that
cautioning.
with a grain of salt.
Right.
And, you know, the numbers that we have of 6 million, those were last year's numbers also.
Yeah, they're probably going to do nothing but go north.
So it's
So,
not going to happen that way.
yeah. Okay, so that's the fire and the building subcommittee. Energy subcommittee, Wyatt.
Yeah, so you all saw the response letter that we sent that Dan alluded to earlier that we sent to their previous letter. I thank all of you for coming tonight to express your concern. As some of you may or may not know, we've had this commission, the Energy Subcommittee, since January. We've been talking about this for many months. It's nice to see more people here and actually talk to us. We did submit for public comment in the past. I welcome all of you to review our meeting notes over time, look at the PSC website, look through things. Obviously, you can submit questions to me or ask me questions. I've also done many research over the last almost 10 months, kind of looking through all of this stuff. And we're still going to continue to move forward and meet regularly for the Energy Subcommittee. We don't have a next date yet, but Lisa, you and I can discuss soon. I'll be out for the next 3 weeks, but I'll work with you, Mark, and figure out who can sort of lead that up in the interim while I'm out for 3 weeks.
So the update was that our legal fees were denied?
Yes, that was the other big thing. So yeah, we did have our grant application denied, so the reimbursement is denied. We're still waiting on the actual written PSC decision to determine if that means we can submit again. We do know that previous municipalities have submitted and have gotten it in the past for different reasons.
Were previous municipalities denied?
Yes, denied initially, submitted again, and got approval after submitting additional evidence. So
additional evidence seems like it was, at least in the initial comments that I saw, which again were filtered through the paper, so that may not be. But
Yeah.
additional comments were provided to the village through the ruling, is that correct?
Well, we don't have the ruling. So we don't have the written ruling yet. All we have is
Just the denial.
the testimony of our legal representative who listened in on the hearing,
Okay.
and then that's it. So that's what he gave us was what he heard. We don't
Why it
actually
was
have
denied.
we don't have the written yet that I've seen.
Is
So-
that coming?
Yeah, he said it should. I don't remember if
We
Lisa.
thought this week.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be end of last week, beginning of this week. So we haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping soon, because I agree. I mean, I want to know what's next, because obviously that's our next big decision is if it's denied and if there is no grounds to apply again, what are we going to decide next? So.
All right.
But Invenergy put in information to this process to deny that grant for us. So that was their position to deny us this process. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, you're not wrong that some of the comments that they made in their comment
Right.
were also seemingly referenced by one of the commissioners. So the phrases she used, financial hardship, and not proving that we had enough financial hardship, was a direct reference
Quote
to
from
that.
the Invenergy.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I agree.
Okay. Well, thanks, Wyatt.
Yeah. So, I mean, if is there room to resubmit, then we will work on that. That's my plan. And we'll be conferring with our legal counsel as soon as we hear more. So.
All right. Ted?
But Wyatt, I believe that as we go further along, we have the right to resubmit and
We might,
to
but
the
I mean,
PSC, we do.
We do. I mean, there's nothing that'll stop us resubmitting. I think the challenge is it's the same two commissioners we have to convince. And if there is no grounds for us to convince them, I mean, is it a worthwhile effort to continue to pay legal? I mean, maybe it is to continue to pay our legal fees to try to get reimbursed, but for what dollar amount potentially? I mean, if they are claiming we can't prove it, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I think it's more of we were denied. I agree. There's nothing that stops us from ever resubmitting, at least from my understanding. But it's sort of how they write that up to determine how much.
I think one of the commissioners would really like to support Cambridge, but I think she needs a little bit more information than what she had to make that decision.
We have to convince both.
What's that?
We have to convince both. This isn't we get one. It's both of them have to say yes to our grant application. There is no tiebreaker. Because we only have 2 commissioners instead of 3, we're down to convincing both of them at this point.
Do you recall Invenergy's position as to why they felt it was necessary to deny this grant to us?
They didn't say, other than
didn't say?
they
Okay.
just submitted that we couldn't prove
Do we have
financial
access
hardship.
to that?
Yeah, it's in there. I can pull it up and send it to you guys, the direct
okay.
link of what they wrote out. It's quite long, lengthy document. Some of it is, we responded to it.
We responded to it in our initial position.
We responded to it as an after. We submitted the
Okay.
grant, they submitted a response to our grant, we submitted a response to that.
And all of that went forward as part of that process.
It did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Why, can you refresh my memory, what are the 2 commissioners' names again?
I don't remember first names, but Nowak and Valk.
Tracy.
Yes, thank you.
Is our response
Or
to
it's
the
Ellen, sorry, Ellen
Hinchley-
Nowak.
Thank you.
Tracy's my wife. That was her maiden name.
Valk was the one that was at least based on the comments we got, seemed to be in favor, at least more understanding of our position. Nowak was the one that was more firm on, we can't prove financial hardship. And I don't remember her other specific comments, but that was the big one.
I remember.
They were saying that we came in too late.
Oh, that was the other thing, is that she said we need to be updating our plan use sooner. We should be planning for these kinds of things well in advance. And Valk's comment was, we need to be more understanding as a commission, that how would we know about these things coming? So,
Has our response to the Hinchley deal been published to the public? Is that public record?
It's on record. Yeah, it is public record. We can certainly share it as something that's sent out. So for all of you, you saw the letter that Invenergy sent to us. We did respond to that letter, not saying that we agree with it, but asking for additional things to meet some of what we want. So that is public. We can certainly share that with anyone here that would like it. I don't know, do you have a specific where you'd want to share it, or you just sort of wanna make
Lisa,
sure
what do you
people know?
think? I think it's important that we share that to the residents, since we've been meeting a lot in closed session, talking to the lawyers. The perception is that we're not being forthright or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'd like for that to be out there for everyone to see.
And I will say it wasn't included in this packet because we just sent it out Friday. I didn't want it out publicly before the people it was addressed to received it. So,
I think you include it in the minutes. I'm assuming the paper will also ask for it, but we can include it. I'd say in the minutes we include it.
Sure.
Because we referenced it here.
All right, last question here for you,
Yeah.
Wyatt. You said you're going to be gone for 3 weeks?
I am.
When you're going to be back?
The 21st. So I'm not available because I'm flying in on the 21st. So I leave the 1st. I'll be coming back.
I
the
should have
21st.
to be back for the 21st.
All right. Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you for that report. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to move on. Correspondence. There's 2 items in here, and one was a letter of support for the Lake Ripley Management District's purchase of the property. That is our folks over here in the town of Oakland, the special Lake Ripley, the Lake District, and they're buying some ownership of property. You can see the letter, and I think it's a great idea. People, Carla, you're out there, you wave to me when you're on your kayak, so people in Cambridge are using Lake Ripley, and this would help them get some more additional land at no cost to us.
Do you know what they want to do with it? I know you referenced just public
purchase
space.
it.
Just what?
Purchase the land.
Okay.
And then turn it into walking trails.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
There's another letter in here. I'm going to combine the both of these. It's a letter of support for Cambridge Inn on the Main. I got a phone call from Tony. He wanted me to get back with this Jason. I tried a couple times, and then I just sent him an email and just said, hey, we very much appreciate what Tony is doing, and his efforts then could maybe help him get some additional funding. There's some grants that are out there
Guy also sent him a letter
Okay.
as well.
Good.
He asked for one from the Economic Development
Oh.
Chair, which turns out is me.
Yeah.
So I was also able to send that and forward that to Jason.
Okay.
And follow up on that, this is in regard to the WEDC grant, which we passed the resolution to apply for that on their behalf. Normally, a Chamber of Commerce or somebody submits letter of support in the grant approval process. As we have no Chamber of Commerce at this time, they were looking for other, like the village board, and which our support was obvious. We passed the resolution and so forth, but so it was part of that grant approval process.
Okay. All righty. Moving on, upcoming.
May I address the board?
Dean
please?
Wanda standing
I
up.
didn't see you there, Dean.
No, that's okay.
Come on up.
May I address the board? Thank you.
You come up.
Regarding, I'm thinking outside the box again here, personal opinion. Lake District Management, this 55 acres here, I believe a lot of it's just agricultural land and a gravel pit. Thinking outside the box, we are supporting Lake District Management in purchasing this 55 acres. Could we ask Lake District Management to write us a letter in our support of opposing the application as presented to the PSC? Just a thought. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dean.
You're welcome.
Okay, upcoming meetings. I'll just go through these real quick. September 29th, Joint Law Enforcement. October 11th, Plan Commission. October 12th is Joint Law Enforcement. October 13th, Library Board. 18th, Economic Development. The 19th is Energy Subcommittee. Then 19th also is Water and Sewer. And then October 26th, we will be meeting again as far as the Village Board right before Halloween. Which, by the way,
I did forget the 12th for the village board on here.
yeah. What is the deal with Halloween this year? Is there anything?
It'll be on our next agenda, the hours, if,
Okay, because I know the little hobgoblins are getting ready. I see reminders around town. And then we want to get together with Public Works. And then, Chrissy, Eric, what do you say we...
Yeah, finance.
Try not to sound so excited.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Find some money, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be doing that then.
And then the joint village board meeting with Oakland is
Yeah.
27, 28, somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's the 27th.
oh, do I have dates wrong? Oh, sorry.
All right. Board meeting. Okay. All right, questions, referrals to staff for future agenda items? We've got a couple here. Anything else besides these? The COVID protocols and the Jefferson County Library resolution? Anything else? Nothing? Okay. Somebody want to take on 13?
Let me just clarify too, we do not need the legal counsel or the Kashkanan Solar for this closed session.
All right, but we are...
So, no G.
No G, we'll skip right to E.
You want E.
Okay.
And then, that's it? Just
We
skip
want
right
C
to-
too, right?
Yes,
And see the,
E.
village.
yep, for
C.
the vacancy.
We're going to go into closed session.